Obviously, it's been a heck of a week. Ran the gamut of emotions over the past week or so. When I found out from Coach is obviously very upsetting for me because he's been my mentor and my friend, very good friend for 28 years now. Kind of went through that side of emotions, and then after a day or two, you kind of realize that you now got to start preparing for the next step. And for us, we got a whole slate of ACC games ahead of us, and we got to be ready and get prepared to play ACC games.
Bill, you kind of touched on it a second ago, but just, how did Coach L tell you that he was stepping down and that you can take it over for him? Just what was that conversation like?
Yeah, it was very emotional. His wife was around when we talked about it, and even when I talk now, I still get emotional about that day, just because of the man he is, the coach he is, the person that he is. Like I said, he's been a mentor for such a long time to me, and I hated for him to have to step down. I hated that he felt he had to. I hated that we couldn't do anything to help fix it. As an assistant coach to him and as a guy who he's counts on. And so I felt very bad about that. But yeah, it was a lot of emotion. It was a very emotional day.
You talked about him being a mentor. After being around for so long, what is the biggest thing that you learned from him that you're hoping to apply now that you're in this spot?
Well, basically all the good things I know about basketball, I know from Coach L. I can certainly say that. I've worked for a lot of great coaches, but, he was the guy that I was with the longest. He's the guy that taught me things on and off the floor, how to treat the players, how to run a basketball program, I think is his biggest strength. And I think that's part of the whole thing of, getting away from the way things are now is because building a program has become a little bit difficult in this day and age. And but running a program is one of the biggest strengths I think he had, and it's something I'll try to take with me.
And once you kind of mentioned, you get over like the surprise and all the emotions, like when you start, the job, I guess, like what are the first things you're like, okay, I got to take care of X, Y, and Z?
Yeah, you realize you got work to do, right? So you got to start planning. Again, we're not going to make drastic changes on the floor because, again, Coach is my guy. And, we're going to make some, and one of the things I've learned throughout this business is when you're sitting in this seat, you have to put your own personality on the team. It's funny. I was joking with a couple of different guys I talked to. Coach L is so cerebral. He's so intelligent. He's one of the best basketball minds I've ever been around. I'm kind of the opposite. I'm very excitable, very energetic, run all over the place. But I got to be me, right? I put it to someone like Coach L was like Yoda, the Jedi Master, and I'm like young Luke Skywalker, who didn't want to listen at first. But again, I think you realize that. You realize what you have to start getting ready for. You realize how you have to address the players. They came in, they found out, and then we came back that night in practice. And they, kids bounce back much quicker than adults. And so they were ready to practice when we got in the gym on Thursday night.
You mentioned there'll be some changes. Are you talking like lineup changes or just how you run practice, scheduling, stuff like that sort of stuff?
Yeah, I don't think as of right now there's going to be anything drastic. The lineup will change. We don't have that many guys. We had a couple guys out with injuries, and so you don't have a ton of choices. But again, you got to put your own imprint on it. I'd be stupid to give away what strategic changes we're going to make. But again, you'll notice some subtle things that we're trying to do. And again, we're just, we've been struggling for a little bit, so we're trying to lift this group up and get confident and be ready to go into these games and give it our best effort.
Jim said, he mentioned how the new era was part of the reason he stepped down, and obviously a 30-day transfer window opens. All indications is everyone sticking around and seeing this thing through? Do you know yet for sure?
Yeah, I think that everybody's here. At this point in the season, it's very difficult to transfer. And again, I think the first thing that we've tried to do is make sure everybody's together. I mean, that's going to be an important part of anything we can accomplish. The togetherness, the playing as a team, the being a unit, the caring for each other. So that's the first step. And I don't think anybody's leaving right now.
Bill, you were lead recruiters, both George Mason's Final Four team and UM's Final Four team. Are you going to be able to wear the two hats now, or are you going to have to pass some of that recruiting along?
Yeah, I think, you always, when you get to this chair, you have so many different things you have to do. So you have to delegate. I think that's important. That's one of the things I learned before is that you have to delegate. You have to be able to trust the guys you work with. And, we all have full trust in each other. Again, it's different, but, you still got to recruit. You still got to sell the university. You still got to be able to do those things.
How do you do that when you're actually the head coach for the next couple months, but after that, who knows what's going to happen? So how do you go about kind of managing recruiting when things are kind of up in the air?
Well, you just said it. I'm head coach for the next couple of months, at least, right? So you still sell the same things you're selling when you were the associate head coach, or if you were the head coach, you got to go business as usual. So, you had a great academic institution in an unbelievable, desirably great location in the country. A tradition of great basketball that's going to win, that's going to bounce back from this time of struggle. And so, again, those are the things you sell, and I think the guys that we've recruited and the guys that we are recruiting can understand that.
When you talk with the struggles that have gone on the court, what do you attribute to? What do you think can be done to try to right the ship as you guys get back in the conference play coming up here?
Yeah, I think as you listen to some of the things that Coach L talked about in his retirement press conference, it's just a different era. It's just a different era of time. And I think everything is cyclical. I think you're going to go through some struggles, but then you bounce back to it. It's funny how people quickly forget things, right? So we went to the league in the Final Four back-to-back years. One of the best programs in the country. It's hard to argue that anyone had a better record over those years except UConn, right? And so it's easy to forget that the year before we were in a terrible place during the COVID year. We had 6 players playing. We couldn't win a game. We made a little run in the ACC tournament. But that's how quickly things can change, right? We went from that year to the very next year going to the Elite Eight. And even in the Elite Eight year, we were under 500 coming out of Orlando. We were on the ropes. We had lost to UCF at home. We had lost to, Dayton by 20-some points, and then got beat by Alabama by like a gazillion, right? And our kids rallied together and pulled together. So, again, kids are able to bounce back a lot quicker than adults, and I think this group will do that. Again, you have to see success. I think that's a big part of it. So we have to win some games in order for that to be something that they believe in.
And just for you personally, your first game as Miami's head coach coming up against BC, and then you come home after that. What are those games going to be like for you?
Yeah, we're just going to prepare like crazy. Again, our guys are working their tails off. We've already watched all the BC tape. We kind of implement the game plan over the next 2 days. We'll be ready. We'll be ready to play, certainly. Hopefully we play well, but we'll certainly be ready to play that game, and then we're still on the road, and we got Virginia Tech on Saturday, and we'll be ready to play again.
Bill, earlier you talked about the kids, I don't remember the exact word, but bouncing back or just resilient, whatever word you use, but can you explain maybe how it's looked to you in practice since that moment to kind of where we're at now, what it's looked like since everything?
Yeah, I think they showed very good resiliency. Obviously, it's something that no one expected, especially from their perspective. A lot of these guys came here to play for Coach L, a legend in basketball. And so, it's a difficult time for those guys. So the way they've bounced back has been extremely impressive. They've had tremendous energy in practice. They've played together. They've played very, very hard. So I think they should be commended for that. I mean, I certainly look at them every day, and it's like I'm amazed at what they're doing. And so as a coach and as a coaching staff, that helps us. Their energy has been infectious, and hopefully our staff's energy has been infectious to those guys also. But they've done a great job of really locking in. And, you think sometimes when the assistant takes over that, there'll be a drop-off or some slacks or some things that'll go by the wayside, but not this group. They've really locked in and concentrated.
Defensively, maybe kind of what Jordan asked about how it's looked, just what have you seen, what needs to happen, what was kind of the real point of emphasis? Jim has obviously talked to us quite a bit about defense.
Yeah, the defense has been a work in progress all year, and it continues to be a work in progress. But again, I think if you have great effort, that's the first part. And if you have great effort, you can make some corrections. And I think the kids have shown they have great effort.
Did Jim give you? Obviously he's still going to be around and stuff. But did he give you any advice, like any parting words on how to run this team, run this program?
He said it's yours. This is your ship now. You sail it. And so that's what I'm going to do, right? I still talk to him every day, and I ask him, run everything off of him. Any kind of thing that comes up, I'm like, hey, coach, what do you think about this? What do you think about that? But he says, it's your turn to do this and do the best job you can.
Even though this is a unique experience for you, the Cornell days, how much can you glean from what worked for you then, it didn't work?
I think certainly as a coach, when you go through your career, you learn things all the time. If you don't, you're doing it, doing the wrong thing. And I learned what works and what doesn't work for me. I think that'll help me a little bit. But again, I've learned so much from Coach L, even since I came back down here to Miami with him, that I think all those experiences will help me.
Is Kyrie close to coming back and playing?
I don't know about the medical stuff. I would hope because he's a big part of his team and can be a big part. Yeah, he'd be a big part. So, not sure yet.